Hi everyone, welcome back to Noctis Gaming and to our lore series following the entire Warhammer 40k timeline. If you haven't already, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, comment down below on your thoughts, and please tune in for next week's video, which will be a continuation of the Rangdan Xenocides. Thank you. There were victories carved into monuments, wars remembered in glory, triumphs immortalized across 10,000 worlds, and then there were wars erased, wars hidden, wars so devastating that history itself is forced to look away. Among all the conflicts of the Great Crusade, none were more feared, more censored, more mysterious than the Rangdan Xenocides. In the early centuries of the Great Crusade, the Imperium expanded at a staggering pace. World after world brought into compliance. Xenos empires shattered. Humanity reunited beneath the banner of terror. The Legiones Astartes appeared unstoppable. But beyond the northern reaches of the galaxy, beyond the boundaries of explored space, something waited, something ancient, something hostile. The Imperium would come to know it by one name, the Rangdan. At first, the reports were fragmented, lost colonies, silent systems, expeditionary fleets disappearing without trace. Astropathic messages cut short by screams and static. Entire worlds falling dark overnight. The Imperium believed it was isolated incidents. Pirates, warp storms, minor xenos aggression. It was wrong. By the time the truth became clear, the Rangdan had already begun their advance. Even now, the true nature of the Rangdan remains uncertain. Imperial records are incomplete, contradictory, deliberately censored. Some describe them as towering xenos overlords commanding enslaved species. Others spoke of shape-changing horrors, warp-tainted intelligence, predators capable of consuming entire populations. What is certain is that they were unlike anything the Imperium had faced before. Advanced beyond expectation, merciless beyond reason, and terrifyingly efficient. The Imperium responded as it always had, with overwhelming force. Entire expeditionary fleets were redirected northward. Titan legions deployed. Imperial army formations numbered in the millions mobilized. And at the forefront, the Legiones Astartes, the Dark Angels under Lionel Johnson, the Space Wolves led by Leman Russ, elements of the Death Guard and the Iron Warriors, and countless supporting forces. The Imperium expected another campaign, another conquest. Instead, it found annihilation. The Rangdan War did not resemble earlier Crusade conflicts. This was not compliance, not conquest. This was extinction. Planetary defences collapsed within days. Entire sectors vanished from Imperial control. Fleets were destroyed so completely that no wreckage remained. The Rangdan did not simply defeat worlds, they consumed them. The casualty figures became incomprehensible. Millions, and then billions, then entire systems. For the first time since the unification of Terra, the Imperium began to fear defeat. No legion bore the burden of the Xenocides more heavily than the First Legion. The Dark Angels. Ancient, secretive, relentless. Under the command of Lionel Johnson, they became the spear point of the northern campaigns. World after world fell into war zones of impossible brutality, and the Dark Angels adapted. The legions unleashed weapons long forbidden. Archaeotech from the dark age of technology. Engines of destruction too dangerous for conventional war. The Rangdan forced the Imperium to abandon restraint. Even the Legiones Astartes suffered catastrophic losses. Companies vanished. Veteran commanders disappeared without trace. Entire formations of Space Marines were erased in single engagements. The Dark Angels alone are believed to have lost tens of thousands of warriors. Some records suggest entire Titan legions were annihilated. Others imply losses so severe that they were removed from Imperial history entirely. The truth may never be known. And in the shadows of the Xenocides, rumours began. Rumours of legions no longer spoken of Primarchs erased from history. The Imperium has never confirmed the connection, but many believe the Rangdan Xenocides marked the destruction of one of the lost legions, or even both. Records vanished where certainty should exist, names removed, campaigns redacted, entire histories silenced, as though the Imperium itself feared what truly happened there. For the first time in the Great Crusade, the dream of inevitable victory faltered. The Rangdan War consumed resources on a scale beyond comprehension. Expansion elsewhere slowed. Reinforcements were drained towards the northern front. Fear spread quietly through the Imperium, not openly, not publicly, but among commanders, among remembrancers, among the legions themselves. A terrible realization emerged. The Imperium could lose. And so, the Emperor himself intervened, not as a distant ruler, not as a symbol, but as a warlord. The master of mankind moved north, bringing with him forces and weapons unseen since old Earth. What followed, what became of the most heavily censored events in Imperial history? Entire archives were sealed, witnesses were silenced, records were altered. Even among the Adeptus Terra, few would ever know the full truth. The Rangdan Xenocides would continue for years, perhaps decades. Its true scale may never be understood, but the consequences were undeniable. The Imperium emerged victorious, yet changed, harder, crueler, more fearful. The Crusade no longer felt invincible, and somewhere within the horrors of the Xenocides, something else had been buried, something the Imperium never wished remembered. History remembers the Great Crusade as an age of triumph, but triumph is often built upon silence, upon graves, upon truths too terrible to perceive. The Rangdan Xenocides were not merely wars, they were wounds. Wounds carved into the foundations of the Imperium itself. And in the darkness beyond the stars, the galaxy had reminded humanity of a terrible truth. It was not alone.